Well, I forgot to finish my story about the lost phone with the Pennsylvania Dutch or Amish girls. So last time in the last episode from this series of my Pennsylvania hike part 2, year 2, I had found the phone, right? You have to go back and check out that episode, the episode before this one to find out all about that. But anyway, I'd found a phone. And a lot of you asked what become of the phone. So I wanted to tell you. But before I tell you, watch the rest of this video. Good morning, Appalachian Trail community and Ramdino community. Day 3 of part 2 of Pennsylvania, which is year 2. All right, let me flip it around for you. So I'm doing the stretch from 501 to 183, about 9 miles today. Yesterday I did 18 miles. And what my intention was to only do 14 to William Penn Shelter. And it was going to meet Fresh Ground for breakfast the next morning at 564. And I decided to push on the 564 because I got to William Penn and it was like 3 o'clock. I'm like, or 3:30ish. And I said, okay, this is way too early to quit hiking because I get to camp and I'm bored once I get set up. Got all this daylight and I'm thinking, man, I could be hiking. You know, I still got gas in the tank. So yeah. So then I went and did another 2.5-ish to 564. You know, worst case, I could find a place to camp or something there. Got there, and in like an hour and a half, I'm like, well, crap. It's only another 1.9 to the car. And I can hit the car, and yeah, y'all probably have a freak out about this. I could go get a motel. So, oh, real hikers don't sleep in motels. Well, I must not be a real hiker, because if I can go, and my intention was to go get a hotel. 1, it's so hot up here. 2, the heat made me scalded. I need to go sit in an Epsom salt bath. Wrong answer. That was not possible. So, had to get all the salt and sweat off of me because that was causing that problem, plus other issues. Just salt creates heat rashes and friction everywhere on you. And the past 2 days before that, it's been so hot that I literally had salt that I was creating friction from my eyebrows or eyelids. So anyway, got all that off of me. Tried to take a sitz bath in salt, and that didn't work. It was just too much. So, but I did get some healing going on, and today I've got something, hopefully some Body Glide to take care of that. All right, enough of those details. So today, like I said, I'm doing 9 miles to 183 where I've parked the car. Here's the issue though. I had some folks, some subscribers and folks that watch the channel that wanted to meet me at 183. Well, they were going to meet me at 564. I blew past that. And so they met me today, this morning at 183. I got there, and, you know, I am a little on the ODD side. Yeah, that's odd. Instead of the ADD side, apparently I'm on the ADD side too, because if I'm multitasking, I forget stuff. So I was in a hurry to meet them, and in a hurry to get my pack out to get ready to get the shuttle over to the trailhead. And I wanted to make sure it wasn't disingenuous to them, because they were sitting there waiting on me. And so I forgot my trekking poles. So I hike with trekking poles. Fortunately, I'm not doing it overnight. That would be a big issue, because I have a trekking pole tent. But I am going to try this 9 miles. I did not. Hope that wasn't a huge faux pas. I have been using those profusely to get over rocks and stuff here. So, and my understanding is this is where the rocks start beginning. And in fact, the first part of the trail, there were those little cheese grater rocks that cheese grate the trail, cheese grate the bottom of your feet. So, all right, I am heading on out. That is it for the 20-minute update. I'll be back to you later on in the day. Well, I came to my first view, maybe my only view for the day. This looks like it's going to be my view for the day. So far, the last mile or more has been like that, and that's trail. So yeah, it's going to be like that all day long, and I cannot talk to y'all while I'm trying to negotiate that, particularly without trekking poles. I wouldn't do it with trekking poles anyway. So today is supposed to be the high, I think 85, tomorrow's 90. It is sultry in these woods. So you can see out there all the humidity in the air. It's got to be 90% or more, and that translates into sweaty Betty, sweaty Bill, however you want to say it. But whew. All right, Charlie Mike Nobo. I will say this. So without trekking poles, it's slower negotiating these rocks. One, they're slick. I don't care if thousands of hikers a year come through them, or millions. They're still slick. And I got no tracking poles to catch me. So I'm being very careful. Because, I mean, if you fall, you got nowhere to fall but on a rock. And that's, you know, going to be a knee issue, an elbow issue, a wrist issue. It doesn't matter. Whatever catches you, it could be multiple things. So I got to particularly take my time, because I do catch myself with my tracking poles on a regular basis. So you'd think I would remember them in Pennsylvania particularly, but nah, I'll be stupid and not. So, but there's plenty of people out there that hike without them. So anyway, it's one thing though, it has made me slow down, which is, yeah, now where the heck do you go from here? You know, there's no blaze anywhere. I'm assuming it's right across. It's helped me, it's made me slow down, which is a good thing. Talked yesterday about my heart, and so this is keeping my heart rate down for sure. So that's a good thing. And you know, I was talking yesterday about my maximum heart rate being 160. Well, that's my maximum, which you're not supposed to. Your workout weight is supposed to be between 50% and 85% of your maximum. So at that rate, I should be between 80 and I think it's like 137. Well, I'm looking right now, I'm at 123. So, I mean, I stay above 137. So I need to be dialing it back anyway. And I'm thinking, okay, overexert yourself, and that will get you back in better shape. Well, one, you're not going to get in shape only been out for, you know, 10 days on trail. And two, apparently that's, AI says that ain't how it works. So I'm not exactly sure how you get your heart rate down, you know, long term. Somebody is a fitness guru out there, or cardiovascular doctor, let me know. But otherwise, I'm gonna have to be doing some chat GPT, AI, Google stuff to figure that out. All right, I've actually got a couple flat areas I can stick my feet in up here, and that's the challenge, is to try to constantly find dirt, which is not a lot of, or flat rocks to put your feet on, because a lot of these will just eat them up. And also the challenge, if you can find flat rocks, is that you got to watch out for the one that bum rushes you behind it and grabs the top of your foot, which my shoes are cloth, no protection from that, some top attack, or grabs your ankle. So this may have been a good time to wear boots, which a lot of people do through Pennsylvania, and only in Pennsylvania. But I didn't. I've just got trail runners. All right, chat with you in a bit. Okay, I am here where the old AT is closed for environmental reasons, and they've got this bypass, or rather relocation. I assume there was I guess it was getting too rutted out. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know that I've ever seen a bypass marked like that, or not a bypass, a relocation. It said, hey, here's a relocation. Don't go the other way. Usually they just change it and blaze it and they're done with it. And this is trail north by like a 1/10 or so of the pond. Can't remember the name of it now. Hang on. It's right there at the Heartland or something campsite. There's a really good stream there for water, and then it goes into the lake. It's got a rope swing, waterfall. I'm regretting not going there. I thought about it. There's a Boy Scouts there, or I'm assuming Boy Scouts. There's a bunch of boys and look like older boys that could be their leaders. And there's a Boy Scout camp nearby. This is probably maybe the last session for Boy Scouts of the summer. I don't know if they're going back to school up here yet or not. It's getting kind of late for that, but anyhow, that is so there's a bunch of them down there, and I was don't have a towel or nothing to change into that's dry, and just didn't go. But to be honest with you, I regret it. I should have gone down there. I mean, how many times am I going to have that opportunity? All right, so as I was saying, anyway, I regret not staying there and doing that, because I'm not coming back there through this way again. More than, oh, God, that rock got my toe. More than likely. Oh, I'm gonna tell you, these rocks will get up and take you out. All right, I think it was 2.5 or something miles till I come out for the day. This is a short one, but I can't average, particularly without trekking poles. I can't average 2 miles an hour. I'm probably average typically I average about 2.4, 2.5, and I'm probably doing 1.5 miles, 1.75 miles an hour now, just because of the rocks. This is a great section through here. There's not hardly any rocks in comparison. All right, I will catch you maybe between now and coming out. Otherwise, I'll try to remember to give you one more as going home. Well, it looks like I'm about 9/10 out from the end of my day. The way the mileage worked out, I mean, I can only do 9 miles today because tomorrow is going to be a 15-mile day, and there's no stops in between. So no place that I could bail out or cut it short, and I really didn't care about doing a 23-mile day in Rocksylvania. So this will be it for the day. More than likely, a huge shout out to Mike Sr. and Push. They're 2 subscribers, and they came out to the trailhead and met me this morning, and that was awesome to see them. Push summited this year, so through hiked, and then of course summited. So that was really neat to meet him. He sent us a few updates, but you know, as is the case with most folks that start out, they just get so busy, and you're not around Wi-Fi that much, and so those that you know, it's typical for people to drop off after the first week and not continue on. But in any case, appreciate Push, and just always neat to meet a subscriber and or a thru hiker while I'm out here on the trail. All right, that is, looks like it's going to be a wrap for the day. Tomorrow we'll be pushing on into Port Clinton for the 15-miler there, and then Monday we'll catch up to Dianimal. He comes in Sunday probably on a red eye, and then Monday morning we're going to meet him bright and early, and we'll get to hike with him. And of course, he was who I did Pennsylvania last year the southern part with. So excited to see him. I want to show you this. This is pretty cool. Just again, the AT goes through history. So this was the site of Fort Dietrich Snyder, a lookout post to warn of the approach of enemies in the French and Indian War. And it was placed here, looks like the Historical Society of Berks County in March of 34, and then relocated in 1946. So, wow. Yeah, that's 1934. So that marker has been here right around 90 years. Out here in the middle of nowhere. It makes you wonder, how did they get it here? Was there a road here? Of course, it looks like I'm going down a road right now, but was this part of it? I don't know. But anyway, just again, evidence as you are walking, hiking the Appalachian Trail, you're walking through history. You know, in a previous video comments, somebody accused me of having a new mantra, that being a storyteller. I guess when you've lived as long as I have, you have some stories to tell about life, and so I'm gonna tell you another one. So that back there is Dietrich, Fort Dietrich, and I know that's how you pronounce it because I had a drill sergeant, 86, went in May of 86, and his name was Drill Sergeant Dietrich. And Drill Sergeant Dietrich, he would say his name when we first got there, and he goes, but he had a speech impediment, couldn't say his R's. So he's like, my name is Drill Sergeant Dietrich. That's Diet Witch. Like Diet Witch. I'm like, okay, gotcha. Diet Witch? You spell it with a W? Of course, I didn't say that, but... And then later on, I was platoon guide. So that's somebody that the drill sergeants pick to be in charge of your platoon for training. And my responsibility is to carry the book that's got everybody's name in it. And when you show up to a training site, they make sure everybody's there. And I march them around. Typically the drill sergeants march it around, but the platoon guide, if he's confident enough, they'll march him around. And I had ROTC, and so I didn't have any trouble with the confidence. And then plus, you know, I was 21 when I went in, so most of the people, the folks there in training were, you know, 18, 19-year-olds. So I was one of the older ones there. But anyway, so we're marching somewhere. And for whatever reason, I had developed a little bit of confidence later on in the cycle, and as far as, you know, being able to get away with you know, under the radar, maybe, to where only the other trainees knew what I was saying, but make fun of a drill sergeant or something. So and then typically you don't just go somewhere with one drill sergeant, you go with multiple drill sergeants. So I had Drill Sergeant Lance, Drill Sergeant Dietrich, Drill Sergeant Curtis, Drill Sergeant Gretsch. And, you know, I mean, I was 21 at the time. I'm 60 now, but you never forget those names. If you're a veteran, you probably know what I'm talking about. But so we were going somewhere, and there's a Jody. Jody is what you say, you know, is what you kind of sing song as you're hiking to keep everybody in step. And there was one called Hey Hey Captain Jack. Meet me, and what part it was, meet me down by the railroad track. Well, Drill Sergeant Dietrich couldn't say his R's. And we had Drill Sergeant Curtis, Drill Sergeant Lance, and Drill Sergeant Dietrich were walking with us. So Drill Sergeant Dietrich's up front, he goes, Ramsey, give us a Jody. So I'm like, okie doke. And I'm, you know, Drill Sergeant is in the position, he's outside the group walking to the left in a position of authority. And so as the platoon guide, that's what I was doing. And so we're marching, and I went, hey, hey, Captain Jack. And they respond back, hey, hey, Captain Jack. And I said, meet me down by the railroad track. And the other drill sergeants immediately knew where I came up with that and why I said it. And they all got out of step. They all started laughing. They all looked at each other and looked at me and just kept laughing, didn't say anything at all. And Drill Sergeant Dietrich, I don't know if he knew any wiser or not, but anyhow, that was pretty funny. I remember that in basic training. All right, I have arrived here at my terminus for the day. All right, appreciate you not skipping ahead. If you skipped ahead, YouTube will know it and you'll be put in YouTube jail. So what become of the phone was, I called them back up when I got to the William Penn shelter, because that's where I thought I was going to meet them. I thought they were in front of me, right? Nope, they were behind me the whole time. And they actually heard me talking to them as I was talking to them on the phone. So I wasn't going to backtrack. And I didn't want to leave it at that shelter, because that shelter was a hot mess. And it's a little bit, about 1/10 of a mile off the trail. I didn't think they would go down there anyway. And they weren't planning to go there, so I didn't want them to have to go off the trail. But so I didn't leave it there. I took it. I knew they were going all the way to the 501 shelter, and so because I decided to go all the way to the 501 shelter, I took it with me. Got there, called them on their phone, hid it in behind a big old oak tree right behind the kiosk there, and so I'm assuming they found it, because the next day when I went back, and of course I called them and told them where I hid it, and then the next day when I went back, it was gone. So hopefully they found it. Don't know for sure, but they were miles and miles behind me. We're not going too fast. And so I just didn't want to have to wait on them. Of course, kept the credit card in the cash, so that got me through the rest of the trip, that trip. No, I'm kidding you. Did not do any of that. But anyway, let's finish up this day on this hike. And once again, as always, appreciate you, and we hope to see you out here.